Welcome to the Wing Life Podcast, where we talk about wing foiling and the lifestyles of those who enjoy this great sport. Well, Fabi, thanks for coming on the show, my friend. Looking forward to chatting with you.
Hello, thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Has anybody ever referred to you as Fabio because of the hair and the same, that famous model? You have that same kind of look and feel.
Not really. That's more like a recent look of mine with the long hair. I've had like many haircuts through the years, and now it's like since 1 year, a bit of the Jesus Christ look.
Fair enough. Is it helping you on the water?
I think it gives a bit more style to the tricks and the turns, definitely. You know, it can seem like you throw more spray, you know, you throw a nice turn, then it looks more impressive because of the hair.
That's true. All right. And also extra strength, I guess. It was that story of King Solomon, right? I think something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Extra strength. All right. So, we're going to be chatting about a bunch of different stuff today, but I see you wearing a Mystic shirt and you're riding with North. North obviously was our first sponsor that came on. They're an amazing team and we're just very happy with working with them. They're so supportive. So let's dive into it. Like, how do you find working with North and Mystic?
Very, very well, to be honest with you. I've been already 3 years working with them. And recently I just signed my contract for next year. So looks like we are extending our relationship and I'm very happy. It's been a great family and they're treating me very well. I have a very good relationship with Alex, the athlete manager, with the Mystic team, with the North team in New Zealand. And nice people, very passionate, very driven. And they really want to make sure they have the best products in the market. And we are working hard together as a team and overstoked to be part of the family. Definitely.
Good. Yeah. Nice to hear. I just started riding their SF range. I know we can talk a bit about gear finally, but
for sure.
Before previous to this, I'd been riding the same foil for 3 years. And so I know I'd been riding the same gear. So then I picked up their SF range. So I have the 830 and the 1230, two tails, and then also hopping on their standard carbon mast. But the low end is great for an 830. I was surprised with it. And so overall, I'm pretty impressed with how it rides. And I did a little pump test in La Ventana last week. And obviously gear has progressed a ton, but can we go a little bit into foil development? Because what role are you playing, let's say, in the R&D at North? Because I know you're pretty passionate about that.
Yeah, well, so when I started as a team rider, I was at university doing my degree at Engineering and Industrial Design and Product Development. And I just finished that. Last year, I finished all my exams. And this year, I finished my final degree project, which was a foil design, actually. So cool. I'm officially an engineer now. And I shifted my role at North a little bit. At the beginning, I was more like a regular team rider, going to events, competitions, creating content and all of that. And now this last year, it has shifted a bit more into being with the development team, with the product development team, both at North and Mystic. So I spent 2 months earlier this year in New Zealand working with the guys at the office in Auckland. They gave me the huge chance they offered me to be there for an internship, which was an amazing experience.
Definitely.
And currently I just started more or less the same thing with Mystic. The only thing is that I'm doing it online. And when I did it with North, I was there at the office for 2.5 months. And I think it's the natural process that I really feel like following, like changing step by step and slowly from like a pure team rider and competition focus to more of a developer, and hopefully in the future be a full-on engineer dedicated to developing the best toys in the market for you and me, and everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. How did you like find wind for the first time? Did you start super young? Like, what was your story into all this?
Well, so I grew up here in Tarifa, and my dad came from Switzerland here because of the wind. He was a windsurfer, and yeah, he was looking for a windy place close to the ocean, and he came here. My mom's from Madrid. She also came here because of work reasons. They met, they fell in love, and yeah, I got the miracle, like the amazing, incredible, once in a lifetime chance to grow up in Tarifa, which is a mecca of wind and water sports, especially in Europe. And I've been always very, related to the ocean. I started body surfing at the age of, I don't know, like 6 or 8, something like that. Then I took on surfing, age 12. I started windsurfing by then. Then I started kiting by age 16. And then it was in 2019 when I really got to see wing foiling for the first time. And I just tried once, like very quickly. And I already thought like, wow, this could be something. And then in 2020, I got some gear. So I really got into it like full on. And then, because of COVID, we had in Spain like a huge quarantine of 3 months, like a huge lockdown. We couldn't go out or any of that. And during those 3 months, I was like, I want to foil, like a bit of, psycho mode.
Yeah.
And then that summer for me, it was very clear that I really wanted to do that. And I started focusing in winging. And that's how I changed from being mainly a strapless kiteboarder, because that was what I was at that time. I was mainly a strapless rider. I shifted into the wing foiler. And yeah, I'm very happy how everything went. And yeah, I'm just enjoying the process.
That's pretty cool. When did your sponsorship come around with North? Like, how did that come to be?
That was late 2021. I think the guys at North were looking for some foilers. And yeah, I think thanks to Camille Delanois, actually, we knew each other already for some years. And I think he told Alex like, yo, I know this guy from Tarifa, maybe check him out. So they reached out to me, and I immediately had like a very good connection with Alex. I have to recognize it. It was like we really understood each other very well. And then we took it from there and eventually made it happen. And then since 2022, I am working with NAG, with North Action Sports Group. And yeah, like I've said before, really happy. It's been I've been following a very natural progression throughout these 3 years, and super happy to be with them.
Beautiful. So you got called up to the big leagues.
Yeah, exactly.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So you're just finishing up your engineering degree. How was that? How was that schooling?
Well, that was, to be honest with you, it was like a long time thing, which was planned. Like at age 12, I came to my mom and I said like, look, I want to be a surfboard shaper. And she told me like, fine, but you're going to study, you're going to go to university. And I was like, no, come on, like, there's no need for, and she was like, look, Fabi, I don't care. You're going to go to university, because I was very good at school, have to say. So yeah, during my high school years, I was doing very well. And then when the moment came, I was like, okay, then let's do engineering and industrial design, because it's like the closest thing to, that it's going to give me knowledge to be what I want to be in the future, which was a gear designer, a water sports gear designer. And that's why everything happened. And I studied here in Cadiz, which is the main city close to Tarifa. It's just 1 hour from Tarifa by car. And it's like the main city in this province of Andalusia, the region of Spain where I live. So yeah, I did my studies there. And it was a bit tricky to combine like the studies with, riding, because I started traveling by 2020, like going to Brazil to the first ever GWA event. And then I took it from there and I started traveling a lot. So at some moments it was like, whoa, should I just focus on finishing university, or should I just focus on riding and trying to be the best? but somehow I managed to do both at the same time. And yeah, I am very happy to finally finish it, because it took me quite some effort, to be honest with you. But yeah, now I'm very happy that I have this in my backpack forever. And I think it was also very important that I did, this kind of studies, and it can really give me the chance to be where I want to be in the future.
Well, yeah, now you're going to be able to connect all the 20 some years of riding with the math and the technicals to then bring that forward. Because I met Uli and Hugh at AWSI, and just looking and picking their brains as to how things go together and how things get made and why this material was used was fascinating. So that, I think that's going to be such a fun journey for you to kind of delve so much deeper into, like, a deeper layer of everything.
Definitely. And for example, Hugh and Uli are very good examples of guys that are passionate about the ocean, water sports, like a healthy lifestyle, but they are also engineers. So yeah, they definitely are guys that inspire me. And when I was in New Zealand these 2.5 months, I really got the chance to be more with them, spend more time with them. And yeah, it was amazing. I actually went to visit Hugh twice to Raglan. He invited me, to spend some days at his place, and it was amazing to be with Hugh. Really, you can see how passionate he is about just getting all the gear, even if it's like these small things, to always crank it up a level and get the best of the best. And then you see him riding, and he's like sending it on the kite, on the foil, surfing, pump foiling as well. Like we went pump foiling, and I've never done that before, just because we don't have docks here or things like that. And man, I was like, I'm gonna get this quite easy. And then I was like falling each time, and the guy was like pumping for like ages, and I was like, you, come on, what's this? Like, you're doing it so good. So yeah, definitely really cool people. Hugh and Oli, good guys, super focused on the job and on getting the work done. But also, when it's time to be at the ocean and enjoy conditions, they also love it.
Yeah, that was the thing. Because when I met Hugh, because they're launching their new dock starter. And so we had that set up in Hood River at the dock and stuff. And I did 10 tries and at about 10 face plants. I think I got on for a second, but then Marley, like little Marley, was on the side, and he was just doing his like step on dock start. So Hugh worked at it and worked at it and worked at it and had it that day. But I don't know how many, he worked at it for a couple hours, and you could just see that determination to get it. And finally, I think that was the one video we put on an Instagram of him. But we just happened to record the time that he made it off the dock and went around. So it's definitely something that's super cool, but holy man, is it challenging.
Yeah, not easy. Definitely not easy. And Marley, for example, he's like such a talented rider. So yeah, pump foiling, it's something that takes a bit of time. But yeah, this guy, you can give him anything, surfboard, foil, skateboard, he's going to rip on it. Definitely.
So involvement in the R&D, can we talk a little bit about what you do there?
Yeah, sure. So basically, what I try to have is a very close connection with the designers, which are, the wing designer, board designer, and with Uli and Hugh, and for sure with Mike. That's obviously. And yeah, we talk a lot about the upcoming products, about what we could do better from the ones we already have, what we want to have in the future, what direction is the sport going to have. And yeah, when I was in New Zealand, for example, I spent like tons of hours testing prototypes and sharing feedback with the designers and the engineers. And also for example, they have also sent me wings to Tarifa that I can test, give feedback to them. So I try to be in touch with them in a, weekly basis and just share feedback constantly. That's how we do it for the North Foils brand. And then with Mystic is more or less the same. We just speak about which kind of accessories we're going to need for the future, as foiling is like a huge thing coming up. So yeah, just speaking with the soft goods developer, with the accessories engineer, with Joost, working about all the, protection accessories, the impact vest, the helmets, the leashes, everything wing related, like even from the smallest thing, like a leash, until like a board bag passing through a helmet, everything. We just try to, have a fluent communication, speak, understand each other. That's a good thing between engineers. We can really understand each other, and I can transmit what I feel in the water in a way they will know what I'm speaking about. So yeah, that's what we try to do in the work we have on a weekly basis.
Do you think now, because we have, like, even on the GWA, we're having their wave discipline, they're kind of like surf freestyle, they're big air. Like, do you think we're going to get wings that are technical, like, let's say, windsurf sails or kites specifically? Because kite, you can have all these different range, and ones are better for big air, ones are better for this. Do you think eventually it's going to go that route with different materials and different kind of ways the wings are shaped and produced?
Well, I think it's already happening a bit. Like, for example, if you look at our range, we have the Mode Ultra, which is like super high performance race oriented. Then you have the Mode Pro, which is more like a high performance, high speed free ride. Then you have the Nova Pro, which is more like high performance free ride, freestyle wave. Then the normal Nova. So yeah, I really think this is going to happen. For sure, there are always going to be some products which are going to make one guy happy for several disciplines. Like, okay, I use the Nova Pro, for example, and I like it for freestyle. I like it for waves. If I go for a downwind, then I will use that one as well because it's the main product I have. But yeah, then maybe if I'm going to do like a bit of a race thing, one with a friend on the weekend or something, then I might take that one as well because it's the one I have. And, at some point, some products can be like overlapping with each other. But for sure, development, it's going to be happening in a way that each segment, each discipline is going to be covered by a specific product. So yes, I truly believe there's going to be wave specific wings, freestyle specific wings, race specific wings, and then the free ride, beginner, user friendly, does it all. Yeah, especially in the boards and foils. That's for sure happening more and more each time.
Well, because here in Mexico, our neighbor is just getting his 12 and 13-year-old kids into the sport and just looking to try to find gear that would be user friendly, that they could grow with, that could last them a little bit of while. But then, so you're looking at foils, you're looking at board choices, but then there's so many different kinds of wings. Some wings that sit more stable, some wings that turn more, some wings so allowing them, giving them a wider range, I think within each company is kind of nice. I know some companies are coming out with specific learning stuff, but I don't know how long you would keep it or use it. It's nice to be able to grow with your kit.
Yeah, there is some beginner specific stuff, which is really good for the early phase and the next months, year, depending on how often you go and what kind of learning curve you're experiencing. But yeah, and there are some products which could be good for the beginner phase, but then they don't really do the work after. But I think it's more of a matter of where you live, how often you go, and how talented you are, because it really makes a huge difference. But for example, we at North, we're going to come with some dedicated beginner products, which are good to, get the people on board, make their entry journey as easy as possible to get the people like feel comfortable at the sport, and like with the sport at the early phase, which is like the more critical one, because if you don't feel good at the beginning, then you're
not getting hooked.
Really, exactly. So we're trying to make the people feel comfortable at the beginning, but then also, have some gear to follow up afterwards, and then keep it for some time. And like, oh, I just bought a Nova, I'm a beginner, I want to freestyle. No, you can still do it with that product. For sure, maybe the Nova Pro is going to give you a bit of extra help. But if you've got the classic, because after you do the wing foil course, you bought that one, you can still get into your early freestyle or wave game with that same product.
Yeah, that's one thing good to mention, is that the gear now has progressed so far, and it is overall really good stuff, that you can keep things, and even like you can look forward to buying more specific gear, but you are able to enjoy and learn a lot of that way. And talking about Tarifa, you got so many crazy rippers over there. Like, how, jumping back to you, like, how was that? Because it is kind of cool to get to know, which was so much fun to meet Uli and Hugh, just to find out their passion behind the gear that you're riding. You know what I mean? Like, making that connection from passion to sport, I think, is always one for us who ride, is always super fun. So like, you got Xavi there, you got so many other friggin' Nias from there. Like, how did all of these kind of growing up with all these kids go?
Well, I think Tarifa is a super windy place. Like, we've got wind, you could say, nearly every day. Maybe you don't have Levante, but then you have Poniente, and it's not like every day it's nuking 40 knots. You've got a huge variety of conditions, but you definitely get lots of wind, and you get many people that came here to live because of the wind, like my dad, for example. So then we, like the next generations, we are here, we get that passion from our parents, we live in this beautiful and windy place. I think it's just a natural thing that we follow up and also play that same game of water sports. And yeah, it was like, for example, Nia, I remember when she started, I was teaching at a local kite school here in Tarifa, and she came, I already knew her because she was a very good windsurfer. And, like, teaching her the first lessons and seeing like how she evolved so quickly back then. I think that was by 2021 or so. And then afterwards becoming a world champion and everything. It's just mind blowing. And then also you have Chavicor, which we used to do strapless together. And then he came and took on the wing, and also like, what a amazing rider in the freestyle. Then also Jerome has been a very good friend of mine since a long time. And I remember perfectly in summer of 2020, I was going to wing, and then he was like, Fabi, what are you doing with this weird thing? Like, go back to kite. And I was like, no, bro, like, you have to, give it an opportunity. It's very fun. I'm not sure. And then now, years after, you see him like inventing tricks such as the Palau or the back mob. So yeah, I think it has also like a special energy, Tarifa. And if you like it here and you enjoy conditions here, you feel like very, bonded to nature, to the ocean and the wind. So I think that's like the magic ingredient in why so many legends or so many good riders come out of this place.
Because it's on my list to go to. Like, I'm in Mexico this winter, but I think my brother's girlfriend was talking about wanting to go to Spain, south of Spain. And my brother kiteboards, and I grew up like I windsurf and he kiteboards, so it was this fun little rivalry. But we were looking at Tarifa to go and check that place out. So it's good to learn a little bit more about it, and I think it'd be definitely a fun place to spend a winter. What is it? Yeah. Conditions vary year round. Like, what's the best time to go if somebody was going to want to go there for a couple months or something?
Okay, so unlike some other places like Baja California, Canary Islands, Brazil, which have like a seasonal wind, we could say, Tarifa, it's not seasonal at all. Like, you cannot really predict conditions here. The normal tendency is that during the spring, summer, you get more of the Levante wind, which is the strong eastern wind. And then in the winter, you get more of the storms, which have the poniente, the western onshore wind. But you cannot really predict it. So whatever time you come here, it's going to be a good time. The only thing is if you come in summer, there's normally no waves. So it's a bit more flat, a bit more easygoing, but it's really crowded and there's lots of things going on, many people, many tourists. So what I recommend to the people is if you want to come to Tarifa, come maybe between April and June or between September and December. Those are like the best months to be around. July and August, it's just super crowded, like unreal. So I don't recommend it that much. And then December, January, February, March, it's a bit, it can be rainy and bad weather. But during those special months, like spring, autumn, you really have a beautiful light, perfect temperature. It's not cold at all. You've got wind, you've got waves, not many people around. So yeah, you have to come here next year.
Good point. All right, I'm going to keep that open for next fall. Bring some gear down and do some ripping. So have you gotten to go on any kind of photo shoots, any trips with North? Like how is that life as like a pro athlete with them?
Yeah, it's a very sick life, and it feels a bit like a dream life, to be honest with you, especially like for me, I was always dreaming to, like become a pro. So when I finally did it, I was like, wow, so stoked and happy. And I've done some trips with the North team. We've been to Sardinia and Corsica. We've been to Philippines, Patagonia, some very beautiful locations. And that photo shooting trips are really nice because you get to be with all the team. You get to ride all the new toys. Everyone is really happy, very stoked. And yeah, it's kind of a crazy life when you tell your friends like, whoa, I'm going now to the Philippines to work, for a photo shooting. It's like, damn, what a life you live. And so yeah, I really enjoy it, and I enjoy these moments and take it as unique opportunities because you don't really know how long it's going to last. So I try to make the most out of it and yeah, enjoy it as much as I can.
Is there a favorite place of all the places you've been to with them that stand out?
Well, definitely this year we went to the Philippines, to the north, and that was quite unreal. I mean, we got very good wind and waves, and the location was just beautiful. So that was a super nice one. And then also last year, exactly 1 year ago, we went to Patagonia, which is in Argentina, a bit more in the south. We went there to the mountains, to wing in the lakes and also kite because we also had the kite team with us. And that was definitely beautiful. I mean, it's not the place you're going to go if you want to seek for the best conditions ever, but we actually scored perfect conditions. And the scenario, the landscape was just unreal. I mean, it looked like Switzerland on steroids, like super big, super wide and huge and beautiful with the snow on the mountains, everything green, winging in a freshwater lake, pretty unreal. And for sure, the Argentinian people, with their hospitality, delicious food. Yeah, that's one for the books.
Yeah, Patagonia is so infamous. When did you start dabbling into content, like producing content? Because I know your Mars 13 YouTube video just came out and that thing is sick. And I love how you presented that, especially given that more youth and everybody is spending like 90% of their time online rather than taking time outside and reconnecting with nature. Like, how did you guys sculpt that little video? Because it was pretty cool.
Thank you very much. Well, I think I started creating content already like quite a long time ago. even before being like good at kiting or winging or any of that, I've always liked that. And the people I had around, my friends, and yeah, they were also doing it. And Leo, the videographer and editor of the Mars 13 project, it's a very, very good friend of mine. His brother is one of my best friends since we are like kids, like literally babies. So yeah, it was like a natural evolution of our different skills. And with Leo, I always had such a good relationship. We started doing some little videos back in the day. And then for sure, once all the wing foil thing started, we took it way more seriously. And we've been doing that for some years now. And then basically this year we wanted to do something a bit different, a bit more, like cinematic in a way. And as you say, many people, especially young people, they're spending like so much time online, which is like good, but in a way it's also like you should be out there and do something like in the nature and experience the real world. So that's why we decided to not do like many short reels or things like that, and rather do like one bit of a longer edit, so that in a way you disconnect from Instagram for a while. You take your time whenever you feel like it's your right moment. You go to YouTube and then you connect with this little film we are presenting you to, make you disconnect from your, your scrolling and your phone and your like instant dopamine. And then you go to YouTube, you enjoy a bit of a longer video, take your time. And we wanted basically to communicate with the people and express ourselves in that way. And I'm very happy with the result, for sure. I love creating content and writing a story behind a project and then linking up with the videographer, sharing ideas and making it happen. For sure. It's what I like the most, definitely.
So how did you script it? Like, cause the shots are kind of cinematic and that cave scene. Can we talk a little bit about that? Like what that means and where your thought came from?
Well, basically Gran Canaria is an island I really like, and I've been there already like 3 or 4 times. And I was thinking, okay, how could we do something different? So the idea was, okay, because it looks a bit like Mars, because it's so dry, arid, red, and you have this contrast of rocks and huge mountains and everything. The idea was like, because Tarifa in summer is so crowded and there's so much going on, just escape to a different planet, find like a supernatural object, which would be the all new swell. And then I just find it in a cave, like, wow, what is this? This is like something from the gods, something from the universe. Like, how is this here? And what am I supposed to do in such a vast planet with such tough conditions with this magic object? So enjoy what nature offers you, what the wind and the waves are giving you with this special item, which is the board, the all new swell. And that was a little bit like the story behind. Then I like to do a script, take ideas from different places, write everything down, do a storyboard, sit down with Leo, speak about everything. I share my ideas with him. He tells me, I see this point. Maybe we can change this. What about this? Lots of communication. It's very important. Then also selecting the proper songs and the proper, audio for the video, and then just creating. We spend there 13 days. That's why it's Mars 13, because we been 13 days together in Gran Canaria filming the whole day from morning to the afternoon. And the outcome is pretty nice from my point of view.
Well, it reminded me of like Space Odyssey or something. Like I can't remember the actual name right now. I'm looking it up. But there was this video or like a movie filmed a long time ago when like there's all these monkeys and there's this like thing that kind of comes down from the sky. So what was the 4 or 5 versions of like people? So it's like yourself, right? But then there's 4 or 5. Can we talk about that? Like, what is that in real? Because I want to learn. I have my own thoughts, but.
Well, basically, we found this cave and instantly it was like, okay, this is the place to do the revelation of the board and everything. And then it was like, but just me approaching the board. Yeah, it's cool, but what if we, get a bit crazier? And then we come to this idea, like, what if we film it 5 times? Like, but like first I come from one angle, then from another one, like 5 times. And then we put everything together and it looks like it's 5 Fabis at the same time approaching the board. Yeah. So yeah, it was like a bit of a crazy idea, but honestly, that's also how we are and how I am. Like, I like those kind of like trippy things and yeah, it just makes sense. And I don't know, it's also like from an other planet, other galaxy. And it was a fun thing to do. Definitely. It took us quite some time to film everything. Like, I think we spent more than 3 hours at that cave spot filming everything. And yeah, it was a bit of a challenge with the super strong wind blowing against us. Like, but yeah, when you see the outcome, it does like the cinematic things, which you cannot really show in a Instagram reel, and it has to be on a YouTube edit. If you want to do like things like that, I truly believe you have to put it on a YouTube edit, and that's how people are going to appreciate it. If you put it on Instagram, you're just going to see it. Yeah. And you don't remember anymore. At least if you put it on an edit, although it's a bit of an old school thing to do nowadays, but that's how you make sure it stays there forever.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was even talking to a couple of brands kind of behind the scenes, and they had hired a consultant to find out how many people are actually buying gear from social media versus going to Google versus going alternative sources. And they were saying that it was like a very, very small percentage, like less than 5% of people were buying gear because of the content they saw on socials. They all the time went for longer form content on YouTube or forums, or then so YouTube videos, because you can take that video so many different ways based on how you see it and how you grew up. But it's kind of cool to be able to connect a bit more of a storyboard rather than just a quick, like you're saying, just quick 10 seconds, 8 seconds, and then you're gone.
Yeah. And I think that's also, being very honest with you, that's also the way to differentiate myself with other riders. Like, I mean, if we speak about putting 1 minute edit or 1 minute reel of just throwing tricks and tricks and tricks, first, I think that's boring. And second, there are way better riders that can do that. So I don't really see what's the point for me to do that? Like, I don't really want to do those things. I always like to take everything, look everything from a more artistic perspective and just say, okay, how can I do this a bit different with my touch, with my essence? And, like the Fabi signature that you see it and you say, okay, this is Fabi and Leo's work. You can really see it and okay, this is like these guys thing, like we like to do this kind of reels and edits and videos. So yeah, that's why I'm a big advocate of pushing the longer projects, the longer edits. Although nowadays people want to focus on the quick reels and things like that, I'm still going to push for the longer videos because I think that's the way to go, at least for me.
If you think about it one way, like the short videos might elicit more of an addictive response from the consumer rather than slowing down, appreciating the art behind it, then going to create their own art outside on the water. So like if you look at it that way, like it's almost like feeding a kid sugar or feeding them apple and kicking them outside. So it's kind of that sort of thing. But how does it feel to be part of the industry so early on, right? The birth of something brand new. and then being able to have your hands in developing, testing, like all these different aspects that you get to do. Like, where do you think wingfoil is going, and how does it feel to be part of the birth of something brand new?
Well, it feels, like I've said before, it feels like a dream come true, to be honest. Like I remember exactly the first day I was able to ride on a wingfoil with small gear and proper strong wind. I was with a very good friend of mine, Jaime Raiz, kiteboarding legend. I mean, everybody knows him. We were together in Playa Chica, which is like one of the main spots I go here. And, you know, like being able to feel that, like, wow, this is new. Not many people in the world are doing this right now, because we're speaking about early 2020, like probably January or even December 2019. And it was like, wow, this is something. And to be honest, I instantly felt like this is going to be a thing. It's going to work. And it's not coming here like a brief trend and then boom, disappeared. Like, no, I don't know why, but I was very sure foiling came here to stay. So that's why I was so motivated. Like, I want to wing foil, I want to learn surf foil and everything. And it felt magic back in that year in 2020. It felt truly magic, and doing tricks for the first time, like first back loops, then first 360s. Then I'm going to try a forward like in windsurfing, and whoa, what was that? Like, whoa, it's even possible. Yeah. It was crazy. That year, 2020 was really crazy. So being there at that time, it's something magic, I would say. And being now involved in the development of the gear and all of that also feels really good, and feels like I'm walking the path I always wanted to walk. I mean,
that's
truly,
special, that's cool.
I always focused all my energy and effort, not only in the sports, but also in the education, in being where I am right now. And my vision for the future is quite like in a long term, you know, like I don't see myself as a rider that passes by and then disappears and by. No. I really want to get into the industry and show my capabilities and really push to develop gear and keep growing the sport and evolving everything. So honestly, I'm very happy to be where I am right now, and I hope I can keep doing this for many years to come, because it's my passion and it's what drives me and what motivates me. And I don't know, I've put so much time and effort into this that it's like, I
can imagine.
I cannot back off, you know, this is where I want to do.
That's right. What do you think's coming up next? Like, I know we can't talk about too many things because most brands are 2-3 years ahead, and they got all these little cool toys waiting for us, which I'm finding out more and more, right? So I get to go to events now and watch, and then you'll get some sneak peeks, but obviously we can't talk about it. But in relation to downwind foiling or even winging, this new parawing thing is kind of cool. And I know there's going to be a lot of revisions, because there's some, obviously V1 had some positives and some negatives, which is normal. Is there anything that you can mention, talk about, relating to where you think it's going to go? Like, what could happen after a parawing? Like, what else is there? There must be something else out there.
Well, what I'm sure is that downwinding with a foil, it's already a huge thing, and it's going to be even bigger and bigger in the future. And what I believe is that the para wing, the tow kite, however you want to call it, this little mini kite that helps you get up on foil, I think that's going to be like the perfect tool to get people into downwind foiling, because SUP downwind foil, it's quite hard, technical, and you also need proper bumps and open ocean swell to, you know, like to do it in a good way. Not everyone has got that. Maybe they don't have the skill, the conditions, or something's missing. So I truly believe the para wing, it's gonna help the people get into the downwind thing, same as foil assisted tools such as the foil drive, for example.
Yep.
I also think that's gonna be a huge thing in the future for downwind foiling and prone foiling. So what I think is that we're just seeing like the little tools that are opening the gates for what's going to come in the future. I don't know exactly what is going to be the all new crazy tool, because even the para wing, the toe kite, it's something so new right now that we don't really know yet how is it going to be. Myself, I haven't tried a toe kite yet. I didn't get the chance. I can't wait. But I think that's going to be a big thing, and many people are going to do it. I'm waiting. I cannot wait to get one in my hands and start doing it. And then with this, a whole new development of boards and foils, it's coming as well, because if you want to do, at the end of the day, let's be honest, everyone wants to be a surfer. Everyone wants to get that surf feeling.
Yeah.
And foiling has already opened many doors for that. But then downwind foiling is like the next thing. It's like surfing the endless wave.
Yeah, so, that's what you're saying.
True. I think a huge part of the development in the next years, at least, it's going to be focused in how to make us surf and downwind with the foil in a better way, with more dedicated boards for that, foils, mast, stabs, everything. And then let's see where the para wing, the toe kite brings us. We don't know yet, but that's a bit how I see the thing going on.
I guess, did you want to go into kind of some of your favorite products at North?
Yeah, so the gear I use, my favorite products, it's different regarding like which discipline I'm going to go and do that day. If I go freestyle, I'm for sure going to be on the 58 liter SICK. That's my go-to. Like, it's the perfect board for freestyling and for flat water. If there's like some waves, then I would use the swell. Normally I go on the 55 liter. I am 1.85 m and like 82 kilos. So the 55, it's just perfect for me. If it is really strong, I can always jump on the 45, but normally the 55 swell, it's my go-to. And then I'm really liking the new high modulus 80 centimeter carbon mast, high modulus carbon mast 80 centimeter. I'm really liking that product. At the beginning, I was just using it for prone foiling and winging in waves. But to be honest with you, I'm just loving it. And lately I've been even using it for freestyle. And then for my freestyle sessions, I'm using the MA front wings. The 600 V2 is my go-to, is the one I use pretty much always. If it's super strong, then I may jump on the 500. And if it's like a bit lighter, I may go to the 700. And then if I go surf like wing in waves, I also like that one a lot, the MA 500, 600. But the all new SF 530 is a great tool for winging in waves. It's amazing how that foil works. And actually today I was using it. I had a session here in Caños de Meca, 1 hour from Tarifa, and we got some pretty decent size swell, like 2 meter, something like that. And the SF530, it's just perfect for those conditions. I always like to go with the shortest fuselage I can go. So the 600 is my go-to. And then for the MAs, I use the 178 stabilizer. And if I go with the SF530, I normally go with the 142 tail, which feels like a bit more surfy and snappy. And then for prone foiling, my go-to is the SF680. or the SF830 if the waves are not that strong. And I love the Vert 30 liter. For me, it's perfect. Don't need the smaller one. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And for sure, wings, the Nova Pro. That's my product. That's the one I like. I also like the regular Nova, the Nova Classic, quite a lot. It's a very easy to use, intuitive product, and I use it sometimes for downwinding or winging in waves. But normally, the Nova Pro with the boom, it's my weapon of choice. It's so easy, and I'm so used to it as well. I just feel connected with that product.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, thanks for sharing all of that with us and introducing yourself and talking about kind of this cool journey that you've got to experience and continue to experience. I hope this internship at Mystic it works out and goes and is fun for you. Let us know how it goes, because we kind of want some updates. And any trips, any contests coming up that you would want to share?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for your kind words, and for sure we'll be in touch, and I'll keep you posted about everything. Yeah, actually there are quite some things planned. I'm going next week on Saturday by boat from Spain to Canary Islands. It's like a 30-hour journey, something like that. Yeah, it's quite a long trip, but I'm taking my car with me with all the toys and just going to be spending there 1 month in Lanzarote. Good waves, some nice wind as well, but especially it's just waves every day. So good training for the prone foil and the winging in waves. And then after that in January, I'll be heading to Cape Town for some weeks. I've never been to. So
it's apparently a sick spot.
I'm very excited. It's like Cape Town is one of these locations which I really always wanted to go. Always, like even before kiting, when I was doing windsurfing, I was like, oh, I want to go to Cape Town. So I'm really, really excited about that trip. And yeah, let's see how it goes. Let's see how it turns out.
Okay, my friend. Thanks for taking the time, and looking forward to following your journey. I think it's going to be pretty cool.
Thanks to you, Luke. Thank you very much. You've been super nice, and I think we could do an exchange. You come a few weeks here to Tarifa. I go visit you in La Ventana.
There we go.
Could be a nice plan, eh?
Let's do it. Well, we got to invite Hugh and Uli and Mike, though. We can't leave them behind.
Nice. Yeah. Bring them on, for sure.
All right, boys. We're going. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us on this one, and looking forward to the next one.